It's been 30 years since the Rangers lifted the cup. Die-hard Ranger fans want to know, is this the year? That's right, can this team win the cup? But in order to answer that big question, we need to answer three smaller questions. And that's what we're going to do in this final episode of Quest for the Cup. So the first question we need to answer is, what is Coach Peter Laviolette's coaching style and strategy? The second question is, what will the lines look like? And the third question is this team better than last year? So let's get into it. We all know what happened last year. The Rangers got booted from the first round by the New Jersey Devils, and it wasn't pretty.
Stings. All an empty feeling. A little bit in disbelief still.
So General Manager Chris Drury decided to make a change, and Coach Gallant was out and Peter Laviolette was in. So who is Coach Laviolette? Well, first, he's a former Ranger. Yes, he used to play for the Blue Shirts back in the 88-89 campaign. That's when Brian Leetch used to play for the Rangers. Now, he might have had the shortest NHL career, but he's moved behind the bench with a lot of success. Now, he's coached for the Islanders, the Flyers, the Predators, the Hurricanes, and also the Capitals. And he's coached 3 teams to the Stanley Cup Finals and won 1 Stanley Cup. So if you want to coach with experience, he's got it. If you want to coach with a winning pedigree, he's got that too. But what's the major difference between Gallant and Laviolette? And that comes down to coaching philosophy. Now, Gallant was a player's coach. What that means is that Gallant expected his players to coach themselves. That's not how Laviolette runs his teams. And if you want to know what he really thinks, he laid it out for the media when he was hired back in June.
The attack, it's about pressuring, it's about puck pursuit, it's about the battle level, the compete level, the grit. It's that grind in the game that makes teams great. And so I think that you can't just flip a switch on that. That has to be talked about now. It has to be taught in training camp. It has to be worked on through the exhibition games, and it has to be pushed through the entire season, so that it's not something that you're asking to change or to flip a switch to be able to play playoff hockey. It's so that you're ready, you prepared yourself the whole year to play playoff hockey.
Laviolette has said from day one it's about systems and creating an identity. Now, he's been trying to explain what that means. Now, here he is on day 1 of training camp.
I can talk about teams that I've coached that have had some success. There's a certain identity to the way they play. I could also talk about teams that make it deep into the playoffs, to the Final Four, to the Final 2, to Stanley Cup champions. There's a certain attitude that they play with as well. There's a work ethic that goes behind that. And so I think it's a combination of both. I've never wanted to be only a skilled team, and I've never wanted really to be just a hard-working team. When you can combine the two and you can get them on the same page, which is the purpose of training camp. It's to establish your identity, it's to work on it, it's to make the mistakes, to fix the mistakes, to gain confidence with what you're doing on the ice. I feel like when that happens, then the team starts to get confidence in the way that they're playing. So,
if you've been watching the preseason and the press conferences, then you know things have been rocky so far. Zibanejad ran into another player during practice. The team does not look good on defense. And so it's a real wait and see whether or not this team can finally figure out the system Laviolette is playing, and can they create an identity going into the season, and will they be ready for Game 1 against Buffalo on October 12th? Which brings us to question number 2, what will the lines look like? We don't know the final roster yet, but here's what we do know. Coach Laviolette has been telling the media he has been keeping an open mind as to which players make the team and also where they might play in the roster. For example, Alexis Lafreniere is going to play right wing.
Lines on the ice. Is Alexis Lafreniere going to be on the left side or the right side?
So he's going to place some on the right side. I'm going to give him looks on the right side.
And we have seen Lafreniere play on the right side during the preseason. So let's take a look at who's on the team and which players are on the bubble. As you can see from this graphic, most of the players on this list are returning players, except for Blake Wheeler, who was signed by Drury over the summer. Now, there are 2 roster spots open, but there are 6 players on the bubble, as you can see right here. Laviolette's message to his players has been, I have an open mind, so go out on the ice and win your opportunity.
The message is my eyes are wide open, the staff's eyes are wide open. Come in here and take what you want, push for what you want, and I'm sure we won't miss it.
One of the reasons Coach Laviolette has had an open mind philosophy this preseason is because he's not convinced that the Rangers defense is good enough to make a run for the playoffs. No, he doesn't need to worry about Adam Fox or Jacob Trouba or Ryan Lindgren, but the truth is the Rangers are undersized on the blue line. And because the Rangers had 0 cap space, as you can see right here, they were unable to re-sign Nikola Mikkola in the offseason, which means that leaves the Rangers with only one big defenseman, and that's Ben Harpur. And you can see right here a size comparison between Zach Jones and Ben Harpur. So Laviolette has been experimenting with defense pairings, and he explained that philosophy at a press conference.
It's an opportunity for me coming in new to knowing that there was some success there by the success the team had, by analytics, by whatever it might be, by my eyeball watching a game. You can understand that there's some success there. That doesn't mean that you can't try something different as well and see how that looks.
In terms of the entire roster, everyone is playing everywhere. For example, Lafreniere has played with Trocheck, and Othmann has played with Hedl. So it's really difficult to determine exactly which line players will play at, but here's what Coach Laviolette said at a press conference.
What my expectations are with regard to the lines, there's going to be, 2 days from now, there's going to be lines that come out, and they won't be the same the next day. And so I want to look at different parts and different pieces through training camp and see if there's a connection and with any of the players and give players opportunity to show what they can do in different situations. And the same thing holds true for the exhibition games. We're going to put players in spots to prove and give them a chance to earn what they want to earn at training camp. And they'll get those opportunities in practice, they'll get those opportunities in exhibition games, and we're hoping that people push forward and really rise to the top and grab those opportunities and run with them. So it'll change through training camp, and I really am a little bit wide open. I want to be wide open coming in here with what I see and evaluate it from that standpoint.
Now, these are the players that are on the bubble on the defensive side. All 4 of these players have a good shot of actually making the team. So Zach Jones, Ben Harpur, Connor McKay, and Eric Gustafsson, who were both players that Drury signed in the offseason. But there is no guarantee that any one of these players will get the spot. And as I said, Harpur is the only big man for the blue line. Now let's take a look at the offense. Here are the lines that I predict for the start of the season. Keep in mind, I don't know exactly who will make the roster, but based on Laviolette's comments and who has been getting ice time, these are the line combinations that I think will start the season. Now, I want you to know, I am fully aware, I'm going out on a limb, that these lines are completely different than the lines that have been shown on NHL Network and from every other hockey expert. So I understand that I'm taking a huge risk here by saying that these are going to be the lines. But again, I've been listening to Coach Laviolette's comments, and I've been watching the actual ice time that players get. So that's why I think these are the lines. As you can see from this lineup, no one has Lafreniere playing on the first line, but Kreider and Lafreniere have played together, and since Lafreniere is going to play on the right side, that gives an opportunity for Lafreniere to get big minutes. Now, if the Rangers are going to be successful, they need Kaapo Kakko to put in 30 goals. And if he's on the right side with Panarin on the left side, now Panarin has a real sniper to pass to. And therefore, Cooley can step into the third line to play with Trocheck and Wheeler, because now you have two veteran players playing with a younger player, and Brendan Othmann then gets an opportunity to play on the fourth line with veterans Goudreau and Vesey. And I think that gives Othmann a lot of opportunity to just get into the lineup. Not only that, but that's a pretty damn good fourth line. So this is what I think the lineup will be for the start of the season, but let's take a look at the players on the bubble. There's no guarantee that Othmann and Cooley will win the left wing spots, and that's because they have an uphill battle against veteran hockey players Bonino, Brodzinski, Belzile, and Pitlick. And there is no guarantee that Othmann and Cooley will actually beat out those NHL veterans. Before we get to question number 3, is this team better than last year? I wanted to let you know that I will be doing Ranger deep dive videos like this one throughout the entire season. But I won't be posting every single day. So if you don't want to miss another Ranger video, please consider hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way YouTube will alert you to when the next Ranger video drops on this channel. Again, if you want to see more Ranger videos like this one, you need to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, because I don't post every single day. Now, let's get into question number 3. So I thought an interesting way of answering this question was actually to look ahead at the Rangers season between October and the end of January and actually do a month-by-month breakdown of what I think the Rangers will do in the first part of the season. So why don't we take a look at each month together, and I'll show you what I think will happen during the first part of the season. Did you know the Rangers only play 2 home games in September? Press pause because I'm going to go through these screens pretty quickly. Here's November, here's December, and here's January. If you saved the video, you can keep coming back to see how many games I got right. But here's the breakdown. The Rangers play 49 games through January 27th. And their overall record is going to be 27, 16, and 6 for 59 points overall. The Rangers only play 22 of their 49 games at home, which means the Rangers have a favorable schedule down the stretch. And Igor Shesterkin should play 35 of those games, and his record's going to be 17, 11, and 7. Which brings us to the big question at hand. Can the Rangers win the Cup? Here's my honest opinion. I think this team has a lot of talent, and I also think that they're capable of making the playoffs. But in order to win a cup, the Rangers need to find an identity, as Laviolette put it. And right now, the Rangers don't have an identity, which is why I think they're going to open the season with a loss against Buffalo. Here are the keys. If Lafreniere and Kakko don't score 30 goals, the Rangers' power play is not in the top 3 in the NHL, and the Rangers don't fix their holes on defense, then I think the Rangers are going to be fighting for a bottom playoff spot. I'm trying to be optimistic, which is why I'm predicting the Rangers will have 59 points before the All-Star break. But there's a real possibility that the Rangers won't even have 55 points. And if that happens, then I don't think this team is going to make the playoffs. And that's because the Devils and the Carolina Hurricanes are better than they were last year. And don't count out the Islanders and the Flyers trying to have a bounce-back season. But here's my final thoughts. I'm excited and nervous at the same time. The Rangers made the Eastern Conference Finals 2 years ago, but choked against the Devils last year. That means that the Rangers need to step it up even more this season. If you're anything like me, then you cannot wait for the start of the NHL season. I hope you enjoyed this 3-part deep dive series into the New York Rangers. If you want to watch episode 2 or 3, I'm going to put the links in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel because I do not post every day. And if you want YouTube to send you an alert, you need to hit subscribe and the notification bell.